Happy Days was a sitcom that aired on ABC from January 15, 1974 to September 24, 1984. With 11 seasons and 255 episodes, the show truly left its mark on television history. But in this video, we're going to look at a mysterious part of the Happy Days narrative, a character who seemed to vanish from the series without any explanation. Towards the end of the celebrated sitcom, viewers might remember a puzzling comment made by family patriarch Howard Cunningham, who announced his pride in his two children, Richie and Joni. This left longtime followers of the show baffled because the Cunninghams initially had 3 children, not 2. The eldest was Chuck Cunningham, a character who appeared in several episodes in the first and second seasons. Then, without warning or explanation, Chuck suddenly vanished from the show. This mystery left audiences wondering if Chuck had ever truly existed in the first place. The story behind Chuck's character is intriguing. When the pilot was met with lukewarm reactions from ABC, the network decided to use it as an episode in the anthology series Love American Style, which aired in 1972. But when George Lucas's film American Graffiti, also a 50s period piece featuring Ron Howard, became a significant success, ABC realized the potential of having a similar project ready for the small screen. The popularity of Fonz further added to the appeal of the series, which eventually ran for 11 seasons. Initially, the character of Chuck was played by an actor named Rick Carrot. However, once the show went into production, several roles, including Chuck's, were recast. The character was then taken over by Gavin O'Herlihy, who portrayed Chuck as Richie's elder brother, a basketball player preparing for college. Despite the initial excitement, O'Herlihy soon realized that the character wasn't given enough screen time to develop into a compelling presence on the show. Frustrated with this lack of depth, he decided to leave after a few episodes in the first and second seasons. Randolph Roberts briefly replaced him before Chuck Cunningham ceased to exist on the show, disappearing without explanation or mention. The strange absence of Chuck thoroughly perplexed many viewers, especially as reruns weren't as prevalent in the 70s and early 80s, making it hard to recall episodes that featured him. Some viewers even questioned his existence, leading to discussions about this elusive character. Gary Marshall, the show's creator, had an opportunity to explain Chuck's disappearance with a simple explanation, but chose not to. According to Marshall, this was a deliberate decision aimed at stimulating the audience's curiosity. Interestingly, there was a time when Chuck was considered as a potential replacement for Richie when Ron Howard left the series. ABC was reportedly interested in resurrecting the character, but not with O'Herlihy or Roberts. That said, no fourth Chuck ever appeared. Instead, the show introduced another family member, Richie's cousin Roger, played by Ted McGinley. Thus, Happy Days contributed to 2 significant cultural trends: the concept of jumping the shark, which means a significant drop in quality or reliance on outrageous plot points to increase ratings, and Chuck Cunningham Syndrome, which refers to a character disappearing without explanation. As for Gavin O'Herlihy, he continued his acting career, appearing in films like Superman 3 and Death Wish 3, and even working alongside Ron Howard again in the film Willow. Sadly, he passed away in 2021, leaving the fate of his character Chuck Cunningham a perpetual enigma. Let's take a couple of minutes to examine a few other examples of TV characters who succumbed to the so-called Chuck Cunningham Syndrome. Goodbye, Tina. That 70s show is remembered for its charismatic and engaging ensemble cast, among whom was Donna Pinciotti, Eric Foreman's best friend and love interest. Although Donna was primarily depicted as an only child, in the first season, she had a younger sister named Tina, portrayed by Amanda Fuller. But after appearing in a single episode, Tina disappeared without any explanation. There was also mention of an older sister, Valerie, who was never shown on camera and never brought up again after her initial mention. These unexplained disappearances of Donna's siblings have sparked numerous fan theories and discussions. So long, Judy. In Family Matters, Judy Winslow, played by Jamie Foxworth, was initially presented as the youngest of the Winslow family. As the show started to focus more on the character of Steve Urkel, Judy's role, which was already pretty minor, was dismissed after the 4th season. The show ran for 4 more seasons, with Urkel's absurd antics driving the narrative until its eventual conclusion. After Family Matters, Foxworth faced significant personal challenges, including a period where she worked as an adult film actress after facing financial struggles. But in a 2006 interview on Oprah, she openly discussed her experiences and expressed her wish to help other young women avoid making the same mistakes she had. A Whole New World. Saved by the Bell is a classic high school sitcom that began its life as a different show altogether titled Good Morning Miss Bliss, which aired on the Disney Channel in 1988. The show was canceled after 13 episodes, but NBC decided to repackage the concept, focusing more on the teen characters and adjusting the cast to create Saved by the Bell. But there were significant continuity issues between Good Morning Miss Bliss and Saved by the Bell, especially since NBC considered Miss Bliss as part of Saved by the Bell canon and included these episodes in the syndication package. This resulted in a show that appeared as one seamless whole, but with glaring character inconsistencies, and a sudden shift in location from Indiana to sunny California. This has led to a lot of debates among fans about the continuity and the missing characters from the original show. Shipped out to save face. Those who paid close attention to MASH would have noticed the perpetually vacant bed in the swamp during most of the show's run. This bed was initially meant for the fourth resident surgeon, Spearchucker Jones, portrayed by Timothy Brown. As the only African-American surgeon in the unit, Spearchucker's character was transferred seamlessly from both the book and film versions of MASH to the TV adaptation. And for the first 11 episodes, Spearchucker was a constant fixture with a decent amount of screen time. However, a factual inaccuracy was brought to the attention of the show's producers. During the Korean War, there were no African-American surgeons in MASH units. While the writers and producers were eager to challenge bigotry and did create multiple episodes with this theme, they did not want to ignore historical accuracy for the sake of political correctness. The reality was that during the Korean War, segregation was a prevalent issue, and a doctor like Spearchucker would have faced numerous challenges in treating primarily white patients. So Spearchucker's character was discreetly phased out after the 11th episode and never referred to again. Grandma issues. In the initial episode of Full House, one of the first characters introduced was Grandma Tanner, played by Alice Herson. Following the tragic demise of her daughter-in-law, Grandma Tanner temporarily lives with the family and is preparing to move out as the rest of the characters settle in. The implication was quite strong that she would frequently reappear. After all, she wasn't planning to relocate far from San Francisco, suggesting her availability for any familial assistance needed. Herson reprised the role of Grandma Tanner only once more. During the appearance, she realizes the chaotic state of the house under the three men's supervision and threatens to move back unless they get their act together. Given the successful dynamic of the trio, having Grandma Tanner around on a regular basis might have seemed redundant. To further complicate things, a different Grandma Tanner, played by Doris Roberts, appeared during the third season. The narrative suggested this Grandma Tanner had been living at a distant location for years and was visiting for the first time in a long while. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know about these disappearances? Let us know in the comment section below.